Going to go over all the games. There were only two games on Wednesday night. This is the first night after All-Star break. So I'm gonna take the opportunity to go over all the injuries in the NBA and some guys potentially you want to pick up. So the first team is the Atlanta Hawks. Cam Reddish, he over the break he did a non-surgical procedure on his Achilles, and he does not have a timetable at the moment, so he wasn't really fantasy relevant. In category leagues, he really only give you some steals, so it's time to drop him if you somehow still have him. And DeAndre Hunter, according to Roto World, he is going to get reevaluated on March 19th. Today is March 11th. So if you got a couple of IRs and you don't have anybody in there, sure you can pick him up. When before he got hurt, he was like a top 60 guy, mainly on his high efficiency, and we don't know if he's gonna be the same one. But if you have an IR spot, sure you can slot him in there, see what happens. Celtics, Chris Dunn, I don't think he's gonna be any fantasy relevance. Although given 20-25 minutes, he can give you 1.5 steals. He's a guy that just relentlessly going for steal. Doesn't really care about the fouls. So maybe 20-25 minutes he can give you pretty decent steals. But I don't know if you get that many minutes if Trae Young is healthy. Boston Celtics, the big news is Marcus Smart. He's gonna play the next game on Thursday tonight. So we'll see. So they're fairly healthy now, and Marcus Smart in the beginning he's not gonna play 35 minutes right away. So it'll be a good idea to leave him in the IR for a few games and then get him out there in your lineup. On the Nets, over the break, the big news is that Blake Griffin signed with the Nets. That doesn't. I mean, I don't think Blake Griffin is a pickup. The guy mainly his fantasy value over the years is the counting stats, the points, the rebound, the assists. But with Harden and with we got Harden, we got Kyrie, we got KD over there, so don't think he has too much value. But without KD out, if you want to stream him, sure, right? Maybe he can give you 15 points and 7 rebound and 3-4 assists. I don't think his arrival gonna impact any of the big three at all. Maybe Jeff Green and the role player is gonna lose a bit minutes, the power forwards, right? Guys like Joe Harris should still be fine. And Kevin Durant is still out. Hamstring is tricky. Nets they really want to be careful. And if you own KD, what else can you do? Just gotta be patient with him. Just take his time, and when he comes back, he can be 100% healthy, right? The Nets they're okay, right? They don't really need KD at the moment. They're okay. They're winning games without KD, so just rest up and hopefully KD can come back for his owners around fantasy playoffs time. But I do worry that when he does come back, he's gonna probably sit out all the back-to-backs because they really want to, preserve him for the playoffs. The Charlotte Hornets, Devontae Graham is back. If he's out there, you want to pick him up, sure. But we know LaMelo Ball is gonna continue starting, and Graham, he's probably gonna come off the bench for now. And how many minutes he's gonna get, we don't know. But if you need some assists, sure, grab him. But just know his field goal is really really bad. On the Bulls, there's some big news here. Laurie Markkinen and Otto Porter Jr. They're both gonna be. Well, Billy Donovan said Otto Porter has a great possibility. So if Laurie Markkinen for sure, if he's out there, you gotta pick him up. He can give you 18 points, close to 20, and decent rebound. And I think return of Laurie Markkinen is gonna impact Thaddeus Young. Same thing with Otto Porter. So if you own Thaddeus Young, I would try to trade him before tonight's game. Maybe you still get 20-25 minutes. I don't think with both guys returning, Thaddeus Young's run is going to be over very very soon. But he had a pretty good run. He's being like the top 50-60 guy with all those guys out. The Cavaliers, it's a bit tricky. If Larry Nance Jr., if he's out there, sure, want to grab him. We don't know when he's going to be back, but you only grab him if you got an IR. I think his return is pretty imminent. Same thing with Kevin Love. He, if you got an IR, sure, he's going to be a pretty big rebound guy. But again, with Love, he had a pretty good season last year, and the year before he was also very bad, missed pretty much all the season. And this year, same thing, just could not be healthy. And the Cavaliers, they really have no incentive of playing Kevin Love. But Larry Nance Jr. is the priority pickup, and Kevin Love is he's out there. You can also pick him up. But Larry Nance Jr., you know, with what's his name, Jared Allen, right? Jared Allen is going to be the center. He's going to be the power forward, and he should have good value for the rest of the season, right? Because we don't know when Love is coming back. So mainly he's got Jared Allen, Larry Nance Jr., and Kevin Love. Even when Kevin Love does come back, it's going to be mainly those three guys splitting the big man minutes, maybe a little bit of Taurean Prince. So now that Andre Drummond is out of the way, Larry Jr., I think he could be a top 60, 70 guy. If he can maintain maybe just 1.5, 1.6 steals, he could be a pretty valuable guy. So I would for sure pick him up. Drummond, we don't know when he's going to get signed. But he's too good to drop at the moment. So if you got an IR, you got to put the guy in there. For the Denver Nuggets, Paul Millsap and Garrett Harris, they were hurt before the All-Star break. Let's see when they come back what's going to happen. Are they going to eat into Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes? We don't know. For Detroit Pistons, Delon Wright is questionable. So I will be okay if he's playing. I will be okay picking him up. I don't have. Now he has to somewhat split minutes with Dennis Smith Jr. and Killian Hayes got to be back. So before that, we don't have Dennis Smith Jr. We don't have Killian Hayes. Both those guys gonna eat into Delon Wright's minutes. He could still be productive in 25 minutes, but he's not gonna put out the value he was putting out playing 35 minutes. He's a pretty good steal defensive guy with a little bit of assist. So I would pick him up. See his minutes. If his minutes were low, I would just drop him because Dennis Smith Jr. will get in 26, 27 minutes. On the Warriors, James Wiseman, the coach Steve Kerr said he's gonna increase Wiseman's minutes as we get to the end of the season. I don't really buy it, and he's out, so drop him if he's gonna miss a couple games. Sure, we don't know. And on our Rockets, right? They were trying to sell everybody, and Kevin Porter Jr. has been getting a lot of hype. So if he's out there, I would recommend picking up Kevin Porter Jr. His upside, we don't know, right? At this point, it's just Christian Wood, and I don't know. The second guy might just be Kevin Porter Jr. because they're trying to sell Eric Gordon. They're trying to pretty much sell everybody. So guys like Daniel House, guys like David Nwaba. Oh, David Nwaba is out for at least 6 weeks. Guys like Kevin Porter Jr., all those guys, there's just so much usage opening up, right? Other than John Wall and Wood, I don't know. A lot of things are up for grabs. Same thing with Jason Tate. You want to grab him. If Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker are out of the lineup, right? If they don't play, that's like 50, 60 minutes up for grabs. And guys like Jason Tate, Daniel House, if those guys getting consistent 30, 35 minutes, I think they're all roster guys. Same thing with Kevin Porter Jr. On the Pacers. For the Pacers, Caris LeVert is going to be back at some point in March, according to the report. So I think maybe it's a good time to sell high Justin Holiday. And I don't know how many minutes is he going to take away from TJ McConnell, but I do believe those two guys are going to take a little bit hit. But I just don't know how. McConnell, I think he should still get 20 to 25 minutes, and some nights maybe 30. But with LeVert coming back, both guys gonna lose some value, I believe. So if you can sell high on both guys, I would. Clippers, no injuries, pretty good. Lakers, Anthony Davis on February 19th, 4-week recovery timetable. So we'll see. He's gonna get reevaluated in a week or two. So we'll see. In the meantime, Mark, there's not much going on with the Lakers. Not that many guys are fantasy. Have that type of fantasy upside with AD out. On the Grizzlies, oh boy, Jaren Jackson Jr. We don't really know when he's gonna be back. There's very little transparency about Jaren Jackson Jr. 2 months ago, he said his return might sneak up on us. So I don't really know what that means at this point. It's been 2 months. The consensus on the draft day was he's gonna return around Martin Luther King Day, which is late January. We're already mid March at this point. We don't know is he gonna be. I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but I think it's a good time to pick him up. If he got an IR spot, maybe he's gonna be back in a week or two, and he's gonna take some time to ramp up. But he's been very disappointed this season. This guy's got top 50 upside due to his high block numbers. So I think he's too good to leave him out there on the waiver wire. You got IR, you gotta pick him up. For the Miami Heat, Ben is ruled out for Thursday's game. Really not. Maybe Kelly or Ninick. You want to stream him in the short term. And the big news, not really fantasy related, is the Myers Leonard. He was streaming on Twitch, and he was cursing out the Jewish community. He's gonna be out, but it doesn't really matter. He wasn't playing minutes anyways. But this is the big headline for the Miami Heat. Milwaukee Bucks, everybody's healthy. And Timberwolves, D'Lo, if he's out there, pick him up. He's expected to join the Timberwolves on Friday, and maybe the timeline was 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know, about a month ago, so he could be back. I mean, best case scenario, might be back for 2 weeks. And the knee was bothering him all season. So if he's fully recovered, he could give you 20 plus points, 6 assists, and 1.5 steals. That's really good. He could be giving you top 60, if the efficiency was good, he could give you top 50 value. So that's a guy you have to, grab. I think out of all the guys, a lot of guys I listed, him and Jerry Jackson Jr., those are the two guys. If they're on the IR, if they're on the waiver wire, you gotta pick them up. If your team is in a good spot, I would even pick one of those guys up without an IR, right? If you're not aiming for the number one spot and you're gonna make the playoffs. And Malik Beasley is also gonna be back, so he's suspended, so you can't really put him in the IR. At some point, he's still like 2-3 weeks away. So if your team is in the first, second spot, sure, all those guys, it's worth picking up. But I don't know, with everybody healthy, I don't know what the Timberwolves rotation gonna look like. But all those guys should have really good value. D'Lo, Malik Beasley, they have a pretty secure role on the team when they are back. Pelicans now, we don't really care. New York Knicks, Mitchell Robinson should be. On February 16th, he went to he did a surgery on his right hand. So the timeline, I think he's still a couple weeks away. So in the meantime, just try to trade Nerlens Noel. If he has another huge game, try to trade that guy. OKC, yeah. George Hill is out for a week or two, but the rookie, Theo Maledon, he wasn't really doing much. So there's no sell high scenario for him. You can stream him until George Hill comes back. On the Orlando Magic, Aaron Gordon is going to be back, questionable, so you can pick him up, sure. He has been putting up pretty good values this season, and he's worth picking up, in my opinion. I think points leagues for sure. Kettle release, his efficiency a little bit rough. Evan Fournier, out again, just in and out. This Magic team has so many injuries, in and out of the lineup so much. So you still hold on to him. He's gonna be out for just one game. And Cole Anthony, in the short term, you wanna stream Michael Carter Williams. Whenever Cole Anthony is questionable, you can pick him up because his upside is really like maybe top 100 guy. So whenever he becomes questionable to play, that's when you pick him up. I wouldn't really recommend stashing because the upside is quite low. Sixers, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, they are out due to, I think they were in contact with a barber who got COVID. So I mean they should be back. If they didn't get COVID, they should be back early next week, latest. The Phoenix Suns, everybody's pretty healthy, and for the Portland Trailblazers, CJ McCollum and Yusuf Nurkic, they're gonna be back soon. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks of time. So you gotta try to sell Ernest Cantor. Try to see if it works. There's still a possibility that Ernest Cantor with Nurkic back, he can still get 20 minutes a night. Maybe some nights 25 if Nurkic is in foul trouble. So you can sell that idea to the guy who really needs rebound and good efficiency because Cantor's value is running out. So you have to sell him. Um, yeah, on the Kings side, yeah, everybody's healthy. Oh, the San Antonio Spurs, the big news. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge has, him and the Spurs have agreed to mutually part ways. Yeah, it sucks. Aldridge last year, the year before, I mean the last 10 years or so, he was really good. He has been really good in fantasy. Maybe posting top 30, 40 values every single year. Even last year, he averaged 18 points and 8 rebounds with 1.5 blocks on good efficiency. This year really, really disappointing. Yeah, you have to drop in. And what this means in fantasy is like the Spurs guys, Jacob Poeltl is a must roster before this news. And maybe Trey Lyles, maybe a pickup, but he only played 7 minutes last game. So Keldon Johnson is a must pickup. Rudy Gay, I think, is also a must pickup. Those two guys, they're going to get some of the power forward minutes. So I would pick those guys up. I think Keldon Johnson probably better than Rudy Gay. Probably have a bit more upside. But Rudy Gay, I think, is also close to at least in 12-team leagues. Pretty good. Pretty good guy. Can give you some scoring, rebound, and good efficiency. But we'll see what happens with Aldridge. Maybe some contending team going to pick him up. But either way, he won't make a big impact. I wouldn't stash him. I would not. The Toronto Raptors, all those guys are still out. They're going to be missing the Thursday's game. I think some of them got COVID. Like OG, Fred VanVleet, and Siakam. Maybe all of them got COVID. I don't know. It's been a week. So if they didn't get COVID, they should be back at this point. So we don't know. So in the short term, again, the guy that benefits on this team is Norman Powell. So just keep riding him. He's still going to get great value until those guys come back. That's like another 2-3 weeks. So, with all the injuries going on, sure. And the big news is Kyle Laurie. He actually came out and said he's going to be a Raptor. He's going to retire as a Raptor. So there was a report saying that he's going to get traded, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fake news going around saying he might get traded. So it looks like he's going to stick with the Raptors. I think that's great for his fantasy value for the rest of the season. Jazz no injury and Wizards no injury. Okay, cool. That's all the teams. Let's go over all the games. Only 2 games on Wednesday night. The first game is the Wizards losing to the Grizzlies. The Wizards, they were playing quite well before the All-Star break. Just hopefully they can pick up some wins. Russell Westbrook. He only went to free throw line 1 time, so that's really good. And I believe he shouldn't be a 55% free throw shooter. That's gotta improve. But his field goal has improved, in the last month or so. Very great, like greatly improved. He's been shooting like 43% on the season. He was shooting sub 40%, and on the season he was shooting 46%. So that's really good for Russell Westbrook value. He's in category leagues. It's a classic case, right? One man's trash could be another man's treasure. And he's still shooting 58% from the free throw line. If that improves, man, he could be really, really good in category leagues, especially those counting stats. Right. This game, again, he was really hurt in the beginning of the season, not getting any steals. Right. He got 3 steals here, 20 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. And the efficiency is good. If you traded him for peanuts a while back, congrats. Like your team probably went from like mediocre in assists, but with Russell Westbrook, you're one of the top teams in assists. And even in rebound, right? Like if you got a point guard, all of a sudden grab you 9-10 rebound. So another great game from Russell Westbrook. Bradley Beal had a rough game, but he'll be better than this. 3 steals in a block is really strong. The Wizards center rotation continues to be a joke. Wagner, Alexander got 2 minutes. Not much to talk about. Rui Hachimura only 25 minutes and give you 11 and 6 points. If you need points and rebound, I think he's better than a guy like the guy on the Kings, Marvin Bagley. I think he has a higher upside than Marvin Bagley because sometimes he played 35 minutes. He only played 25 minutes here, very weirdly. Davis Bertans, the minutes still low, 20 minutes. had a pretty good game. Shot the ball okay, 50%. Only hit 3 threes. Hit 3 threes. If the guy can't play 30 minutes, he could be valuable at some point in the season if the shooting comes back. But it's been disappointing so far. And Danny Advia got 24 minutes. Don't know, not interested. And on the Grizzlies side, Dylan Brooks, he struggled massively this game. But he was a plus 22. The best on the team. 4 for 7, good from the field, 10 points. He was on a hot streak before the All-Star break. This is. I mean, we know he won't give us 20 points consistently, right? But he still had a steal. This season, his steal numbers has been really, really good. Is he ranked inside of 200? Yes, he's ranked 141st, averaging 1.4 steals. For the season, still shooting sub 40%. So, his ranking, he has room to improve. This season, he really brought the defensive stats, averaging 1.4 steals and 0.5 blocks. That's really worth rostering. If you don't care about the field goal, I think for your team, he's probably a must roster. At this point, can give you 15, 16 points. Not that many guys on the waiver wire can give you that. So it's just one bad game. You still hold on to him. But we know he's inconsistent. But if the defensive numbers fall off, I don't see a reason why you have to roster him. But this season, he's been really consistent to give you those defensive stats. Kyle Anderson, his value, only played 23 minutes here. But he's a pretty big stocks guy, so his ranking is going to be high. But his value is going to be gone. I think when JJJ comes back, he's not going to play 30 minutes ever, pretty much. Valanciunas had a huge game. 29, 20, and 4 blocks. He, on the season after this huge game, his ranking is going to move up quite a bit. Still ranked 79th on the season. The main thing with him is 16 points, it's fine. 11, he's a really, really big rebound guy. 11.7 rebound. But the 0.5 steals and 0.8 blocks, he's got to average over 1 block to have to move up the rankings. I think he can do that. He had 4 block shots here. I mean, he can block more shots. He could be a top 60, top 70 guy. He's really efficient. So we'll see. Obviously, a big game here against this bad Wizards team. Desmond Bain got 31 minutes and Ja Morant got 33. I mean, let's see if Desmond Bain can continue getting this 30 minutes. The coach really likes him. If he can get 30 minutes a night, he's worth grabbing. But I just don't know the upside. And also, Allen was out this game, right? So we don't know. We know the Grizzlies rotation is going to be, other than Ja Morant and, other than Ja Morant, everybody's minutes going to be up and down. Brandon Clark, 25 minutes, not, in the short term streaming, but not too interesting. I think the long term, when JJJ comes back, him and Anderson going to both lose value. DeAnthony Melton's really good fantasy guy, given the minutes. I think we all know at this point, had 2 steals, but only 18 minutes. Justin Winslow played 20, 21 minutes every single night, and the efficiency is really bad, this guy, but putting up decent counting stats, but unless he played 30 minutes, I would not touch him. And Tyus Jones only getting 15 minutes now. But if Ja Morant ever gets hurt, he's a must roster guy. Can give you 6 assists and 1.5 steals. Let's go to the second game of the night, the last game of the night. The Spurs losing to Dallas. And, very interestingly, Aldridge did not play this game. And Keldon Johnson only got 22 minutes. But I think him and Rudy Gay are must roster. Rudy Gay got 27 minutes. If Rudy Gay can play 27 minutes a night, I think he's a must roster. He put up pretty good stats here. 3 steals, 13 points, and 9 rebounds. And on most nights, he's pretty efficient. So I will go and grab Rudy Gay. And Trey Lyles, he's been playing 30-plus minutes and only got 7 minutes here. So for now, I would definitely go grab Rudy Gay, see what the Spurs rotation look like. Popovich maybe hasn't made up his mind yet, working with a lot of injuries. And also, this game, Derek White came back, right? Played 27 minutes. You still hold on to him. Just a bad shooting night. Had a block. The reason you hold on to him because he can, as a point guard, as a guard, he give you so many blocks. Everything else is not going to be that eye-popping. 4 assists over a steal, maybe a block. But that's good enough for me. Jakob Poeltl didn't do anything this game. Played 32 minutes. The most encouraging thing. Had 4 fouls. He's a must roster guy. He could bring plenty of steals and blocks. He's a must roster guy moving forward. DeRozan, another huge game, but no rebound. And bad from the free throw line. And 63% from the field. Just weird, very weird line from DeRozan. And 4 steals and 11 assists, but no rebound, 30 points. Really, really strong from DeRozan. I mean, over the years, over his career, he's been so consistent being that top 40 and 50 guy. So, another good game from him. Dejounte Murray, only 1 steal. Pretty bad game from him for Dejounte Murray. But he should be a pretty good rebound, assist, and steals guy for your team. But this Wizards team pretty boring. Sorry, this Spurs team. Just want to see, I think Keldon Johnson and Derrick White, those 2 young guys, I just want to see them putting out more, and Jacob Porter as well at this point. Putting out better lines than this. They did play the Mavericks, who is not known to give out steals or blocks, I think. On the Mavericks side, Maxi Kleber got the 33 minutes. I think if the guy plays consistent 30 minutes, he's worth a look because he can give you the blocks. He's a mini Brook Lopez. So I would keep an eye on him. I think I would even grab him at this point if he's been getting consistent 30 plus minutes. Sunday is 25, but the potential to get blocks is really good. Dorian Finney-Smith 31 minutes. Him and Josh Richardson, those guys could, is getting consistent 30 minutes, but just not doing much. They're not big defensive guys, and they don't get any assists. So the upset is quite low. Luka, a great win, 22 points, a triple-double, but the problem with Luka is low defense, high turnover, and a lot of the times bad efficiency from both. Right, that's really stopping him from getting to the top 10 in fantasy. Porzingis, on paper looked great, 28 and 14 points, but no blocks. Where is his ranking for the season? Let me see. To me, he's a top 25 guy, but he hasn't been that this season. He's a 29th. If he can move his blocks up a little bit, 1.5 blocks. I mean, over the years, he's a 2 blocks guy. I mean, that's it. The rest of the line looks fine. 20 points, 8.6 rebound. And this year, his efficiency has been pretty good, 48%. If he can block 2 shots, comfortably 25, 20 guy. Tim Hardaway Jr., you got to drop in. Jalen Brunson with Luka come back. Maybe you can stream him, but value is pretty low. And Tim Hardaway Jr. was horrendous, a minus 18 in 24 minutes. So it seems like Rick Carlisle is moving away from playing Tim Hardaway Jr. 30 minutes, starting him, playing him 30 minutes. You'd rather play Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith. So I think Maxi Kleber is the guy you want to pick up, maybe roster in 12-team leagues, because he can give you the defensive stats, mainly the blocks. And Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Richardson, you can stream them. That's it for all the games. I will see you guys tomorrow.